Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you the 9th chapter of your supplementary reader book, and the topic is the Comet first. Students, today I will teach you the first part of this chapter. Okay, students, this chapter is about the Dada, a non-professional scientist who was very eager to find out about the comet, and how he bought his telescope, which he named Divya. So we have to read in this story. So let's start the chapter. Just open your book and page number 73 and listen to me very carefully. It was a moonless night in December. A burst of cool breeze from the windows was enough to disturb the sleep of Indrani Devi. Half awake, she felt for the adjoining pillow, although she knew the answer that Dada was not there. It was a moonless night in the month of December, and a gust of cool wind from the window was coming, and the gust of that wind was enough to disturb the sleep of Indrani Devi. She was half awake, and she touched the attached pillow. She touched the pillow that was near to her, though she knew the answer, and the answer was what? That Dada was not there. Okay, so he has gone to hobnob with that rest Divya. At least he might have bothered to close the door, she said. He had gone to spend time together with that Divya. At least he might have bothered to close the door. Even as she muttered her complaints, Indrani Devi could not repress her smile. Even she was muttering, she was speaking very slowly, her complaint about her husband. At that time she could not suppress her smile. She knew how utterly oblivious her husband was of the practical problems of living. She could not repress her smile, because she knew that her husband was completely forgetful about the practical problems of life. She could not repress her smile because she knew that her husband was very forgetful about the practical problems of life. Did not his doctor tell him to take special precautions against the cold? She questioned herself. She asked herself if his doctor had not told him to take special precautions against the cold, but he would not remember to put on a sweater even if it was lying on his bedside chair. But his doctor, she asked himself that his doctor had told him to take special precautions against the cold, but he would not remember to put on a sweater even if it was lying on his bedside chair. How could he, when Divya had put her spell on him? She also said that how could he remember when Divya had cast a magical effect on him? She picked up the white woolen pullover, wrapped herself in a shawl, and made her way to the roof to break up his tete-a-tete with Divya. So she picked up the white woolen sweater. She also wrapped herself in a shawl, and she went towards the roof. She went there to break up his private meeting with Divya. She found them both huddled together eye to eye. When she reached on the roof, she saw that her husband and Divya both were sitting very closely. Both were sitting together very closely, and they were looking towards each other. At least the Dada was looking into Divya's eyes, and she saw that the Dada, he was looking into the eyes of Divya. When the Dada acquired this telescope, he was so thrilled that he called it Divya Chakshu, divine eye. When the Dada bought that telescope, which Indrani Devi was saying Divya, when he bought that telescope, at that time he was so overjoyed that he named it Divya Chakshu, that is, means divine eye. To Indrani Devi, the telescope was like a designing woman who had ensnared her husband, and for Indrani Devi, that telescope was like a wicked woman who had trapped her husband. The telescope, the Divya Chakshu, was like a wicked woman for Indrani Devi who had trapped her husband. So she just called it Divya and the name stuck. That's why she called that telescope Divya. She named that telescope Divya and the name was fixed. To the Dada, the telescope marked the fulfillment of the ambition of a lifetime. And for the Dada, the telescope was the fulfillment of his ambition of his whole life. As an amateur astronomer, he had longed for enough money to buy a good telescope and for enough spare time in which to observe the events. As a non-professional astronomer means a scholar of the science of the sun, moon, stars. So, as a non-professional astronomer, he had wished for enough money to buy a good telescope, and he had also wished enough spare time in which he could observe the event. He got them both when he retired with ample money, and he found he got the money as well as this enough time, spare time, when he retired with sufficient money. The telescope was duly installed, and long were the dark nights that the Tara spent in stargazing. When he retired with sufficient money, then he bought a telescope, and the telescope was properly installed, and the Tada started spending whole nights in stargazing. At least Indrani Devi thought so, and it was the thinking of Indrani Devi since when he had purchased that telescope. Then from that it was properly installed, and the Tara was spending his whole nights in stargazing. It was the belief of Indrani Devi. It was the thinking of Indrani Devi. Here, put on this sweater, or do you want Naveen Babu to order bed rest tomorrow? She went on the roof and she told her husband that here, just put on this sweater, or if he wanted Naveen Babu to order bed rest the next day, like every other amateur astronomer, the Tada had a secret ambition that he would one day discover a new comet. Like every other non-professional astronomer, the Tada had a secret wish, secret ambition to discover a new comet one day. For comets can be coming as they do from the remote corners of the solar system. He had a secret ambition to discover a new comet, And comet can be new because they come from the far corner of the solar system. He wanted to discover a new comet, and comet can be new because they come from the far off corner of the solar system. Like planets, comet also orbit around the sun, but their orbits are highly eccentric. Like other planets, comets also move in around the sun, but their orbits are highly strange. Their orbits are highly unusual. So, once in a while, a comet comes close to the sun. It has a longest tail that is lit brilliantly by the sunlight, and then it recedes into darkness, not to be seen again for years or for centuries. So, once in a while means occasionally. So, occasionally a comet comes. So, occasionally when a comet comes close to the sun, it has a longest tail. It has a long tail that lit brilliantly, that shines brilliantly by the sunlight, and then it goes back into darkness, and it cannot be seen again for years or for centuries. Means when a comet comes close to the sun, it has a longest tail that shines brilliantly by the sunlight, and then it goes back into darkness, and after that it cannot be seen again for years or for centuries. What chance did he stand with his 8-inch Divya? Didn't professional astronomers have gigantic telescopes? There is a question that what chance of success did he stand with 8-inch Divya? What was the possibility of his success with that 8-inch Divya, that 8-inch telescope? And did not the professional astronomers have gigantic telescopes? Means the other professional astronomers, he was not professional astronomer, but did the professional astronomers have the huge telescope? The Tada was optimistic. He was hopeful. He knew that the professionals with their pre-assigned programs would be looking at faint stars and nebulous galaxies. The Tada was hopeful. He knew that the professional scientists, they had their planned programs, and they would be looking at the faint stars and hazy band of stars. Nebulous means hazy. Hazy galaxies means band of stars. So they would be looking at faint stars and hazy band of stars. They might miss such an insignificant thing as a comet, which they were not expecting to see anyway. The professional astronomers, they might miss such an insignificant thing as a comet, which they were not expecting to see anyway. Indeed, amateurs had often discovered new comets which the professional had missed, and which the non-professional astronomers had often discovered new comets which the professional astronomers had missed. And it looked to the Tada that tonight was going to be the big night, and it seemed to the Tada that tonight, the night on that day was going to be the big night. For against the background of the same old stars, the Tada had detected a faint stranger. Because against the background of the same old stars, the Tada had noticed a faint stranger. He re-examined the chart with him, checked his Divya for any smudges on the optics, did some calculation on his pocket calculator in torchlight, for though absent-minded about daily causes, he was meticulous in his observations. On that day, the Dada thought that it was going to be the big night, because he had noticed a faint stanza in the background, against the background of the old stars. So he re-examined the chart. After that, he checked his telescope, because he checked his telescope for any smudges. Smudges means spots, marks. He checked his telescopes that for any spot on the lenses of his telescopes. He checked his telescope whether there might not be any spot on the lenses. Did some calculations also. In torchlight, though absent-minded about daily causes, though he was forgetful about a routine task, but he was meticulous in his observations, but he was very alert, he was very careful in his observations. Yes, there can be no mistake. What he was looking at had not been there earlier, and it did look like a new comet. Yes, there can be no mistake when he was doing observations. There could not be any mistake. What he was looking at, the thing, the stranger at which he was looking, had not been there earlier. It had not been there earlier, and it did look like a new comet. And the new thing and the faint stranger that was against the background of the old stars, it looked like a new comet. 2 days later, the Anand Patrika came out with the news, and after 2 days, the Anand Patrika came out with the news. Calcutta man discovers the comet. There was the news in the magazine that Calcutta man discovers the comet. What was written in that magazine? Shri Manoj Datta, a resident on the northern outskirts of Calcutta, has claimed to have discovered a new comet. Shri Manoj Datta, a resident on the northern outskirts of Calcutta, he has claimed that he has discovered a new comet. He has seen the comet on the last 2 nights and has informed the Indian Institute of Astrophysics at Bangalore of its whereabouts. He has discovered a new comet, and he has seen that new comet on the last 2 nights, and he has also informed about its location to the Indian Institute of Astrophysics at Bangalore. The IIA runs a 90-inch telescope, the biggest in Asia, at Bangalore. The IIA, it has a 90-inch telescope that is biggest in Asia. If it confirms the Dada's finding, it will be the high point in his lifelong career as amateur astronomer. If IIA confirms the Dada's discovery, then it would be the high point in his lifelong career as a non-professional astronomer. The Dada, as he is affectionately called by his friends and admirers, estimates that the comet would be clearly visible to the naked eye in the next few months. The Dada, as he is lovingly called by his friends and admirers, he estimates that the new comet would be clearly visible to the naked eye in the next few months. He gives all credit for his discovery to his 8-inch telescope, which he calls Vidya. He gave all the credit for his discovery to his 8-inch telescope, which he lovingly calls Vidya. Thereafter, it took just 1 week for Comet to be recognized and sold. And thereafter, it took just only 1 week for Comet Datta to be recognized. Means after, when he discovered, after 1 week, it was recognized and it was named. So, what? Comet Datta. For the IIA confirmed the findings and communicated it worldwide, and according to the accepted practice, the new comet was named after its discovery. Because the IIA confirmed the discovery of the comet and it communicated about the comet worldwide, and according to the accepted practice, the new comet was named after its discovery. Means when he announced that he has discovered the new comet, after 1 week it was recognized and it was named by the IIA. Okay, this brought in unwelcome publicity to the introvert Datta, and the discovery of the new comet, it brought the unwanted publicity to the person that non-professional amateur Datta. There were numerous receptions and functions to attend, and after that he had to attend many receptions and functions. Returning from one such ceremony, the Datta muttered to himself and discussed, I almost wish I had not discovered this comet. And when he was returning from one ceremony, he muttered, he spoke very slowly to himself in strong dislike that he wishes he had not discovered his comet. To his surprise, Indrani Devi agreed, I wish the same, though not for the same reason. Indrani Devi also agreed with his thinking, and he was surprised. She also said that I wish the same, though not for the same reason. The people were welcoming, the people were inviting him. So he did not want the publicity. So he said, but Indrani Devi also agreed that she wishes he had not discovered this comet, but the reason was not said. May I ask why you wish I had not discovered this comet? The Datta asked if he knew why he should not discover that comet. Comets bring ill luck, and I wish a good man like you were not associated with the discovery of one. Indrani Devi said in concern. Indrani Devi replied with concern that comets bring ill, and she wishes that a good man like her husband was not associated with the discovery of such comets. The Datta laughed. I see that even an average has not told you of your superstitions. The Datta laughed and he said that even an average it could not cure her irrational beliefs. There is no correlation whatsoever with the arrival of a comet and the calamities of the earth. He said that there is no correlation about the arrival of a comet and the misfortunes. On the contrary, comets have been scientifically studied and their composition is well understood. He said that comets have been scientifically studied and their composition is well understood by the scientists. There is no correlation about the arrival of a comet and the misfortunes of the earth, the disasters of the earth. There is nothing harmful about them. He said that there is nothing harmful about the comets. Well, you will soon see this comet of mine pass harmlessly by causing no anxiety to anybody. He said that immediately Indrani Devi would see that comet, it would pass harmlessly without creating anxiety, without any harm to anyone. In this last comment, however, the Datta was not going to be exactly right. When he said that his comet would pass harmlessly and it would not be the cause, could not be the reason of anxiety for anybody. In this comment, he was not going to be exactly right. Okay, so dear students, first part of this chapter is completed. You will write the word meaning, whatever I have written on the board, and after that, tomorrow I will teach you the second part of this chapter. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.